We're having trouble streaming your destinations. Possible stream ended. Uh-oh. Oh, that's on Kick.
Yeah, it's on Kick.
All right, yeah, I see it on. Oh, they can hear us. This is our first time, folks.
I think we're live. All right, now we're back.
Can they see us?
They should be able to, but we can't. Let me see. Nope.
All right. So
not that one. There we go.
There we go.
I'll just remove that.
All right. So this is our first time doing this. Snot, hit the intro.
No, we're not doing any more intros. We're not doing any more fucking intros.
No, I mean your intro.
No, we're just gonna right, do it like this. We're here. I'm Sadat the Gamer. That's Jay Shockblast, and that's not Casual Avenger. That is
it's not
Caboose. That's
oh, my bad.
He's an alternate. This is a variant of Casual Avenger, and this is from
disappointing guys.
This is Casual from the 616. This is Caboose.
So welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm ready to. I mean, it's been a busy week.
Yeah.
I know we've been trying to set this up. To be honest, I think now is a better time than when we were initially trying Jay for last week. Because there is a lot to talk about today, man.
Yeah. So let's start with this, okay?
The face, YouTube face.
yeah. Anyway, so it's funny that you say that because there's a question I was going to ask eventually, but let's just get out of the way now. I feel like you're mostly known for Mortal Kombat, Batman, and Spider-Man. So which, if you could only be known for one, would you want to be known for?
Ooh. Why would you do that?
Right off the bat, asking the hard-hitting questions.
I mean, before 2018, I would have told you Batman, but Spider-Man games have been like have been ruling like the world of comic book video games in general over the last 5 years. And so I would probably, I mean, I wouldn't mind to be known as that guy. I like kind of for a lot of people being like that source, you know, the people that like to watch before the Spider-Man stuff. But hey, I'm glad I still get to cover Mortal Kombat and I still get to cover Batman related stuff too. So we're good. I luckily don't have to choose, but right. if I was down to it, I would probably like to be known as like.
I just wanted to start off by putting you right on the spot.
Unbelievable, Jay! Like, how dare you?
Way to make our guests uncomfortable.
I'm never coming back.
It was worth it for the first time. No. So yeah, man. So obviously, Caboose and I have met many times, and I have so much respect for you. You've worked really hard over the years, and I love seeing your successes. I loved your video that you did with Shazam, with Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so cool. I already told you the story, but like when I saw it, I like immediately showed my wife. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. So yeah, man. Like
he was insanely jealous. He was raging.
Oh yeah, man. So yeah, I mean that was a really cool opportunity. A lot of the people at like Warner Brothers in Canada are like they're very kind, and they you know, they got a lot of fun stuff going on. And I got a good friend of mine who's really good with like visual effects things.
Nice.
And he threw that together like same day. It was pretty ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And I got some more cool things coming up now.
Nice
for the Flash, actually.
Of course, you
Yeah.
like Jay is used to all these other people. Jay's my one guy who's always at these big events and getting bags of money from these developers, but now we have two. And you're the guy who's usually there with them.
I'm waiting for my Insomniac paycheck. It's coming in any day now, any day.
Any day.
Yeah, but I mean, I got nothing but respect for you guys as well. Of course, Jay, like you mentioned, we've seen each other however many times now in the past couple of years, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing each other again very soon.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff coming out, I'm sure, through the summer leading into like Mortal Kombat 1, and then who knows what could be going down for Spider-Man. But yeah, I got nothing but respect for you guys as well, and the grind and the hustle that you guys are on every single day for the content that you guys make. So I mean, thank you for having me. And
yeah,
I mean, Jay, you're my boy. Like, you're one of my good friends, one of my good colleagues in like the YouTube industry, if you could call it that.
Yeah.
And so, it's always nice that we get like an opportunity to collaborate in some way.
I always just remember the first time we met, which was at the Lego DC Supervillains event.
Yes.
And I didn't know anybody, and you and Uncaged like made me feel like I was part of the group.
Yeah.
And I know I've said this to you before again, but for as long as I live, I will never forget that, because like this industry is very competitive, and there were some other people that I met at that event that never talked to me again that I thought we had really good rapport with. But like, it's so interesting the way, like, because I'm 13 years on YouTube now, and I think I saw you said you're at about 10.
Yeah, like 10 or 11 now. I mean, more than a little more.
And
I'm on year 2.
Hey, we all start at some point, man. Like,
yeah. So I guess I don't know what order Sadat wanted to go in, but I'm assuming we're gonna strike while the iron's hot on Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. There's we can get all that.
I think there was like a new trailer or something, right?
Yeah, it might have been. I think we could go in order. We can go PlayStation Showcase, because it's a lot of stuff around that, and of course that'll naturally lead to Spider-Man 2, because that's how we do it in the biz. We try to keep it nice and like this smooth. Like this is our actual first time meeting, but I always watch your videos mainly as motivation, because I'll be like, what a Caboose drop. All right, I got one up that.
You know what though? That's the best way to do it. Like, because that's how anybody ever grew on this platform, is you're watching with the people who you might think like, okay, they're doing well. How do I emulate that? Or how do I make my own version of it? Like that's what I was doing when my channel was small. I was looking at all the people that were doing stuff like covering Injustice or covering like any of the superhero games. And what I noticed when I was smaller 10 plus years ago was there wasn't a lot of people doing that, And so for me, my version of it was, okay, I got to be for these people like the one-stop shop. If you want to know anything about, at the time it was Batman Arkham Origins, or if you want to know anything about Injustice Gods Among Us, like I got to be the hub, I got to be the Super Mario 64, like Peach's Castle. Like this is where you're coming to stop by every single day to check what's going on. And I've been trying to carry that ever since. But yeah, I mean, like, whatever you're trying to do, man, if it's trying to like one up me, if it's trying to do what I do better, I do nothing but encourage that, because
Absolutely.
like what Jay said, when we met at that Lego DC Villains event, for me, it was never about like, you're my competition. It's about like, there's enough room at the table for everybody to eat.
Absolutely.
So like feast, like let's all eat.
You actually helped me get my most viewed video so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was this was before Gotham Knights came out, and I was looking at our what's our most.
I see it.
Because I was trying to transition from Avengers, so I was like, let me get into Gotham Knights, and I saw you post about Batman, and I was like, I'm like a little bit late. Caboose beat me to it, but I can flip this. I could do an angle on this, and I can make the same video but a different angle, and I did it. Nice. and it just
that's good, man. I'm happy to hear that, honestly. Like, keep doing it. I encourage.
Yeah. So the PlayStation Showcase, I think all of us live streamed it. Pretty much. It was a crazy event. I enjoyed it. Always enjoy these sort of events, even events that are dry. We just kind of get crazy in the chat. But everybody was obviously waiting for this PlayStation Showcase. It's been almost 2 years since the last one, and there was a bunch of leaks going before, so people had kind of their expectations. Some of my predictions came true, but I know there was the narrative coming out of Showcase was that a lot of people were disappointed. I saw Jeff Grubb and Game Mess, they were kind of talking about how they felt like Sony held back a little too much, and this is kind of not what they really needed to do. And I know a lot of people outside of basically Phantom Blade Zero and Spider-Man 2 thought the entire thing was kind of mid. I said straight up, this is definitely not as good as the 2021 showcase, but there were parts of it that I liked obviously much better, like the Spider-Man gameplay. I thought overall, I think it's fair to say the last one was better, but then again, the last one was God tier. You really couldn't get much better than that. So I'm kind of fine with a B, a B plus. So what do you guys think of it?
I'll be honest, I'm kind of in the crowd where it's like, listen, I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, so for me it's like as long as I was at the show, like we won, so and so the fact that they kept me waiting until the very last second, and even then I thought they weren't gonna do it. Like when I saw some random dude in the jungle, I was like, seriously, like you're gonna hold out on Spider-Man 2 right now? But then I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people like you guys have seen kind of the recent report that's gone out today regarding the Last of Us multiplayer and stuff, because I like the night before the PlayStation Showcase, I went out with a bunch of like Canadian creators, and we were sitting there like literally like metaphorically filling out our PlayStation Showcase bingo card, and dead center was Spider-Man 2 gameplay, but right around that area was also Last of Us multiplayer. I was like, there's just no way they don't show it. We got the concept art at the Summer Game Fest last year. We had word that we're going to see more of it this year. Everyone was expecting, okay, PlayStation Showcase, it's time. They're going to give us the big blowout of information about what's going on with it. But clearly that game is something's going on at Naughty Dog, and they're having a bit of trouble with it, which is unfortunate. And just now you're seeing all these reports come out too that apparently there was a lot actually that's been ready for PlayStation first party stuff. And people are like, they have no idea why they held back. And I'm kind of right there with them. On one hand, I don't want to have something like Ghost of Tsushima 2 announced and then we don't hear about it for 6 years.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we know they're making a Ghost of Tsushima 2, and the PlayStation Showcase, the whole point of the show is to kind of get you hyped for like PlayStation as a brand. So I just found it weird for like announcements like that to be missing. But
Stellar Blade too, like
Stellar Blade,
that's supposed to come out this year, right?
Like, is there going to be a Bloodborne PC port? Is there going to be a Bloodborne 2? What's happening with that? I do like that they announced that Marathon was pretty cool. That was a big surprise, honestly. Bungie as well, giving us a bit of an update on Destiny 2. And then we also got the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. That was like one of the cooler reveals of the PlayStation Showcase. And I guess maybe I just wanted a little more of that. Like that Metal Gear Solid trailer was like, you had no idea what it was. It starts out with a frog being picked up by a bird, and the next thing you know, you got freaking, it's not Solid Snake, right? It's Big Boss, who's like creeping out of the shadows, and you hear the music. It's like, oh my God, like that was so cool. So I kind of wish that we got a little bit more like that. But overall, I guess it's not so bad. Spider-Man 2 really sent the show off with like a bang. So it wasn't horrible, but yeah, it didn't live up to the first or the last one in 2021, nor did it live up to all the anticipation that's been building for the year and a half since that last one.
Sure.
Yeah, so for me, I thought it was a good show, and the way I look at it is this was kind of like their E3. And whenever we've seen E3 shows from Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, there's always been third-party stuff attached to it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too surprised with that. I do agree that I was surprised that there weren't like more big first party stuff. But if you think about it, they just had the overload of, God of War coming out and Horizon, all that stuff. So like those are like their two like main eventers kind of right next to maybe Spider-Man and I don't know, Ratchet and Clank, I guess.
Yeah.
There's other stuff too, but like I thought there was a little bit of something for everybody, and I watched as the comments kind of like once you got to the VR stuff, it's like, well, they've just released the new VR. Of course they're showing VR. It doesn't have to be for you. It's not for me. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but it's got to be there.
It's a part of the ecosystem. It just has to be. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, I think the big thing people need to remember is like, these shows are not going to be 100% everything directed at you,
Yeah.
But I thought there was some cool stuff. I mean, I didn't play the original Dragon Dogma, but that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great. I heard I know there was the anime on Netflix that was absolute dog water, but the game looked pretty great.
Yeah, and there was like a couple Final Fantasy looking games, like OG, that looked interesting, but like, I understand why there are people that are disappointed. I feel like lately, if it's not 100, it's a 0. And
I mean, that's with everything.
Yeah, and I just don't understand that mentality, I guess.
Yeah. It's just, I guess it's one of those things where, when you look at the last one, and then it's, I feel like a lot of people would feel less disappointed had there been a PlayStation showcase last year. Had last year they gave us kind of a sample sizing, like, here's some things to come, here's some more of that third party stuff. And then we went into this year being like, okay, it's another PlayStation showcase. Maybe don't get your hopes up too high. Then you get, Marathon. Then you get Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake and Spider-Man 2 gameplay. And it's like, okay, wait, that was actually pretty good, And it's them holding their cards and clutching the pearls so tight made us feel like, okay, they waited a year and a half. They waited for this Activision Blizzard nonsense to kind of die down a little bit. They've been waiting. Is it time now for them to really blow the roof off this place, especially since we're right around that E3 season? And so the fact that it was just like, I agree. Like, it wasn't, I don't think by definition, like a bad show, like
Right.
they showed good games, like you mentioned. Oh, I can't even remember the name of it now. Like the samurai looking game, Phantom Blade.
Zero. I will never forget that game as long as I live.
Yeah, like that game looked awesome. That was definitely the coolest like new IP related thing that they showed during the PlayStation showcase. And then we saw, Ghost Runner 2. I thought was also a pretty cool announcement.
Helldivers 2 look good.
Helldivers 2.
Never played. I never played the first, but
I know some people were excited about that in my chat as well, so that surprised me. And then we got friggin' what else? Like obviously Spider-Man 2 gameplay. So like there was, by definition, it was a good show. I would say it's just because of the expectation that they kind of set themselves by skipping out on a PlayStation showcase last year. We were all thinking like this was the moment we were going to get a look at phase 2, if you will, for the PlayStation. Because just in general, too, for the PS5, there hasn't been many just straight up PlayStation 5 exclusives yet. And we're 3 years into the generation. We had Ratchet and Clank, which looks incredible, plays amazing. It's super fun. But Miles Morales is on PS4. Ragnarok is on PS4. Horizon Forbidden West is on PS4. Like all that we've really been getting are, like Last of Us Part 1, like the remake. Yeah. But
and then it launched with Demon Souls,
right? But like,
and
that's kind of like lost in the sauce now, right?
Yeah. What was the other one?
Was the one from Gearbox?
Godfall.
Yeah,
it's on Xbox now, as an exclusive.
That one was a bit of a flop.
I'm still mad about that game.
Yeah,
I liked what I played of it, but I thought it was going to be a lot cooler.
It depends on when you played it. I got it because I got my PS5 launch day. I had it.
Same.
I got my Miles Morales because I knew that was obviously instant cop. I was like, let me get something else. I was like, Demon Souls or Godfall looked great in the lead up, so I grabbed that. Yeah. I uninstalled after 2 hours.
Damn.
It was the worst. Damn. It was one of the worst games I've ever played.
I will say though, like when you look at things like Ragnarok on PS5 versus PS4, it's a pretty huge leap. Miles Morales on PS5 versus PS4, it's a pretty huge leap.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to discredit that there's been good games to play on the PlayStation 5. It's just that you're waiting for that like you need to have this PlayStation 5 for this game. Spider-Man 2 now looks like that'll be it. And the more we see of it, the more that it's just going to convince people of exactly that.
For sure.
But there's still some time, right, until we get there. And even then, we haven't built a library like the PlayStation 4 has had. You know, there's no Uncharted's of the world. There's no Last of Us of the world, which we thought that Last of Us multiplayer would be it, but I guess not. You know,
apparently it's in development hell. Which is never good.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
It does seem like the world is healing though, because I've gone to like literally every store I go to now. I can see PS5s and Series X.
It's way more accessible now, which is good.
Yeah, so there's no like excuse. The only excuse anybody has at this point is that they just don't have the money to get it. You know, I would love to see more games start being, you know, leaving the last generation behind, because that's when you're truly going to get, you know, a fully next gen experience.
Yeah.
And, especially and for that we mean also like first party, because we've had some technically current gen exclusive ones that didn't quite feel that. Like Gotham Knights started out as previous gen, then they switched to current gen only, and it definitely didn't look or feel like current gen.
Yeah.
Even though I had fun with it, you know, Jedi Survivor exclusively current gen is huge, but doesn't really look or feel to me like a current gen, especially with the issues that they had at launch on performance. So we are kind of waiting for that, like, you know.
I will say, I think a lot of people are going to start noticing, and Spider-Man 2 will be the first one to really get people to understand this, that like graphics in video games, I don't want to necessarily say that they've peaked, but they're certainly starting to hit like an apex, you know. Like, I don't know how much nicer games can look.
Oh, I do. Now we've seen it. We've actually seen it.
Like what?
That first person shooter that went viral because it literally looks like
the Unreal Engine 5 thing. So so I know what you're talking about, but that's like we're talking like several years down the line. You know, that's like when people can really master Unreal Engine 5. So I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But right now, like at least for this console generation, like I think we need to subvert expectations of games coming out and then looking like literally real life. Because like even then, that little tech demo that we saw that looked as real as it did, it only looks that real because it's like a tiny little square is your space to play, right? To create a massive open world, to create a 10, 20 hour linear experience with several different levels that are all designed completely different from one another. Like, I don't think we can achieve that level of realism for a very, very long time. And so, Spider-Man 2 doesn't look like it's leaps and bounds graphically better than Miles Morales or Spider-Man PS4, but it's an improvement on those two.
It looked great.
And we're heading in a direction, and now it just comes down to what are the gameplay improvements, what are the performance improvements, the open world, those sort of things.
It was actually part of that gameplay demo that reminded me of the Dead Space remake, which I thought was one of the best, probably arguably in terms of realism and detail, arguably the best current gen game I've seen so far.
Yeah.
They also showed 2 new pieces of hardware, both of which I feel like got panned, one of which I think deserves. The earbuds, I think, are great. I think you listen, you look at any like podcast or interview, you see the people with their AirPods in all the time. Why wouldn't Sony want to have something like that? People love earbuds. I used to work for Bose, and let me tell you, we sold earbuds over these like 10-1. All right. So like, I think that's great, but then there's the handheld, and I'm interested to hear what some real live Sony ponies have to say about it.
I'm not gonna cap. I was just counting down because I knew Spider-Man was coming after. So I was like, let's get this bullshit out of here. I want to see none of this. I don't care. Sorry, I love you, Jim. I don't care about none of this, bro.
I was kind of in the same boat. I felt like that needed to be something that was saved more towards the middle of the show to be like, hey, let's take a break from the games, talk about hardware. But yeah, I agree. The earbuds are cool. Plus, if you can recreate the same, I don't think they said that they're going to do this, but if there's a way that those earbuds recreate that same sort of 3D spatial audio effect that you get out of the headphones, that's a really cool alternative, because a lot of people prefer to have earbuds over the head headphones, and so to have something like that is just an option. And then as well, just to use it, like if you're going to the gym, you want to listen to music, or if you're in a meeting, you want to have your AirPod equivalent, that sort of thing. Like it's a good piece of hardware. I don't mind that. But yeah, the Project Q thing, I don't get it, man. No, I mean, I kind of understand it. I'm interested in the idea that, like, if I'm playing Spider-Man 2 and my girlfriend wanted to go to bed, but I kind of didn't want to, I could just take that Project Q with me into the bed and just keep playing. But like, what else does it do besides that?
That's my thing. Like, I feel like if there was a world where you could take it, like, this is literally, you have to be near your PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
Like, if there's a world where you could take it with you on the bus, like a Switch, sure. But like, I don't know, like, can't you just do that with your phone? You can get one of those little extenders. I mean, I guess the screen's
I thought it was
going to
be like cloud gaming, right? And isn't that like the expectation nowadays with like handheld devices that aren't a Nintendo Switch, is that they're going to have some sort of cloud gaming capability? I thought that's what we were going to get from PlayStation here. Like, and honestly, the design too is so uninspired. It's like completely like, I don't know. It's like, it sounds like the first pitch that you would give for this idea, and that's just what they went straight ahead with.
Do you think it'll sell?
I mean, if the PSVR 2, like, if that's not selling, that handheld is definitely not selling.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Because I was interested in the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
I mean, until I saw it, but in theory, I was interested in. But when I saw that price tag, and I was like, ooh.
You know who's gonna buy it? The person who sees it, and because it's going to be marketed horribly, thinks that it's like Nintendo Switch but for PlayStation,
right?
Ooh, and it feels like, oh, I can take this on the go, and then they get on the bus and it's just not working, and they return it the next day. Like that's those are the people that are going to buy it.
I did that twice with PlayStation VR. I bought it twice, and I fog those goggles up so bad. I bought it so I could play the Batman game, which is like 30 minutes long tops.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, bringing it back.
Yeah.
And like, cause the goggle, like I just fog them up. So, yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, and Free Willy says in the chat, it's literally a Wii U,
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with my Switch, when I go to, like, usually on Fridays, we go to my in-laws, and I bring it, I let my niece sit there and play Pokemon or, whatever the dog game is, Paw Patrol. And, I can take it with me anywhere I go. Whenever we travel, I always bring it with me, but I never use it, but I have it just in case.
Yeah.
So, like, I like that aspect about the Switch. And I would have thought this would have been great, because it's going to be almost the price of a Switch and not do anywhere near the capability.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm going to buy the earbuds, because I've had one pair of earbuds for like the last 3 years or so. They're Raycons. Yeah. I love them. I mean, they're not. I wish they were a sponsor, because I use them all the time.
My girlfriend took my Raycons for me, and I just have wireless Beats. So it's like, for me, like, the PlayStation ones are cool, and if I had no other option, like, I might be like, maybe I'll go get those. But I already got.
I haven't worked for Bose for like 6 years, and I still feel weird if I try any other brand's headphones. So
it's a traitor.
I do. I really do. Like, I love that job. But anyway,
I respect it.
Much better. I think you got a better one, Jay.
Well, no. Listen, I agree. But it's neither here nor there.
Looking at your room, I think I would agree too, man.
Yeah.
The house that Lego built.
It is a mess. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look so messy to me. I wish I could have a room with that much stuff. Dude, you're just lucky you can fit all that stuff in some way, because for me, it's just, everything's just everywhere. Like, I don't even know like how to make it neat and organized in any way, man. And then every time I get like a PR package, I'm excited, but I'm like, where do I even put this stuff?
Yeah. I've got a few of them like that. Like that Gotham Knights box they sent us.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got the Red Hood one like I did.
Huge, man.
I wish the hinge was on the other side because I could just at least stand it up against the wall.
Yeah.
Like right where the Eevee is.
Oh yeah.
Like I could just stand up against the wall, but the hinge makes it so it won't stand up and say Gotham Knights.
It'll be upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's a blessing and a curse, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I had that problem. My room literally just has anime posters. I don't have any giant packages from press.
We're gonna get you there, man. We're gonna get you there.
Only thing they ever send me are review codes. I haven't gotten a big package yet, but pause. But we'll hopefully we'll have to get there.
Yeah, you'll be there soon.
But this question from Johnny, I think, leads us naturally into the web head, and our finally all of our patience was rewarded. As for the actual question, I'm pretty confident based on the trailer that based on the gameplay demo that Peter is going to start with his base outfit. And I'm pretty sure that was from later in the game where he got the symbiote. But I think we can all agree that the gameplay demo, I know a few people said it was boring, that some people had some problems with it, but overall, what did you think of the gameplay demo? Because I know I was yelling the entire time.
You asking like what I thought?
Yeah,
it was pretty bad, honestly. Like Insomniac, no, come on, like that. that was incredible. Are you kidding me? Again, the setup to it, I feel like they had to have known what they were doing. In both starting it in some random jungle with some random dude and making everyone be like, they're not going to show Spider-Man. Like, you kidding me? But then also after that Kraven trailer, having it end and everyone being like, that's it? Are you kidding me? Like, they faked this out 2 times at the end of that show. And I was ready, man. I was ready to start ranting on Twitter. But no, the gameplay was amazing. And opening it up and just starting us off right away with the symbiote suit, I think was as good as they could have done it. Like, just get that big question that's been on everybody's mind out of the way. And now create all these questions of, when is it in the story? How long has he had the symbiote? And to answer that question, I do think we're going to start off the game with him having the mechanical arms. And then that's what's going to turn it into like the tendrils, like we even see when he busts out of the basement that it looks like he's got 4 tendrils on his back lifting him up. So maybe it's, the mechanical arms that's turned into the tendrils. I don't know. Awesome. But I just want to see as well now, like that. This is another thing that too gets me intrigued is we've seen all this symbiote gameplay now, but I have no idea how Peter plays without it. And I'm very interested to see what that's going to end up looking like. There's so much that they can be showing us here over the next couple of months. And I'm so excited. That demo was incredible. The symbiote suit looks so good, except for the legs. I think the legs are a little weird looking. But the top half from here, chef's kiss. Perfect. I'm really about it.
I loved when the screen went dark after they showed Kraven. And on my reaction, I just go, I hope that's it. Don't show anything else. Because number one, chaos.
Yeah.
And number 2, I'm of the belief that I want to see as little as possible. I know that goes against what a lot of people, they just want to see it all. But I want to go into the game and experience it. And I do feel like that short little burst that they showed was perfect. It was really enough. Effective. Yeah, it was enough to like give us an idea of where we're at. We got to see how Miles has evolved a little bit. We got to see where Peter's head was at, and he's very angry, obviously being impacted by the symbiote. And we got to even see a little bit of Genki and how he's part of Spidey Squad now. And it's honestly, we even saw the map and how all the different other characters lay out and everything. I'm sure everybody noticed Wraith on the page.
Of course.
So yeah, I really felt like it was as good as you could get for a little 12-minute spurt that showed just enough to not show too much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I
agree.
I agree 100% with Caboose. It was absolute trash. Insomniac should be ashamed. should be ashamed for what they were. I had faith the entire time. I was watching. I was like, so a few seconds into that start of that trailer, I was like, oh, that's Craven. That's Craven. Then I heard.
Yeah, did we all think that the first guy
Yep.
was Craven? Yeah, okay.
No, I didn't. But then I heard Sergey. I was like, okay, yeah. He's about yeah, and I just wait. I was like, just let him cook. I was telling everybody in the chat, just let him cook. Let him cook. It's coming, and we were rewarded. I thought it was almost perfect. I thought it showed. The only thing I wasn't in love with was the lizard design. I thought that chase scene was really cool.
The kaiju.
Yeah, it was not my favorite. Not my favorite crocodile design plus for lizard, but I did think the sequence was cool. I know some people were complaining about the web swinging because they were expecting something like revolutionary, but to me, I thought the web swinging and Miles was perfect. And the one thing I wanted was like a way for it to be faster, and they gave it to they got the super launch, and we got the wings. Like, what else you need? You see how fast Miles covered that distance?
Batman glides and dive bombs the same exact way in 4 games, and no one bats an eye. Spider-Man swings similarly to how he did in the last game, and people are losing it. It's unreal.
Are people their own worst enemy? Like, is that really what it's come down to? Is like,
absolutely,
you know,
like Jay went at some weirdo on Twitter who was complaining that this game takes place in New York City.
Yeah, I saw that too. They were comparing like a part of the map that looked the same in the new gameplay demo as it did in Miles Morales, and it's like, yeah, because they're using portions of the same open world in the last game.
Yes.
How do you think you get 3 straight Spider-Man games this fast without having the ability to reuse the carefully crafted New York City that is hyper accurate? Like, yeah, they're going to reuse their assets, but did you notice the map? It opens up to the other side of the river. There's a whole other section.
No, seriously, it's unreal. And plus, as well, even if they took 10 years, if they wanted to if we're gonna stay in Manhattan and you want to have that be a part of the open world, why would it look different?
Yeah.
Why would it look? It's still New York. Like, it's still their version of New York. How could it be different? What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, I don't think people understand how many assets get reused in everything. Like, literally every game they've ever played. Like, that's how you're able to pump these games out, and that's why they're not $80 instead of going up to $70. You know, like, people just don't get it, and like, I don't understand. Like, I knew there was going to be another Puddlegate. All right, there would be something, because people would that's what the internet does now. They just big brain and think of, how can I look at all of this and find something to say, aha, got him, you know? And it blows my mind, some of the things that people are complaining about.
That and people comparing a cinematic trailer that's pre-rendered in-engine footage
to the gameplay.
Actual gameplay
that they reduced the quality of, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And
exactly.
they lowered the frame lowered the frame rate.
Just curating an argument for yourself at that point. It's unbelievable. And you know what? At the end of the day, the way that I look at it is, there are normal people, and then there are people who need to find something to be upset about. And those people that want to have something to be mad about, those people who are just gonna nitpick every little detail. Like, I even saw too the part at the beginning of the demo where you see one of those Craven drones flying into the city. People are zooming in times 1,000 to the city to see little texture pop-ins, and I'm like, when you're playing the game, your eye, it would literally be impossible for you to notice it. You know, you wouldn't be able to see that.
Those must be the people whose eyes hurt if a game isn't 60 frames per second.
Ooh.
Unless it's Tears of the Kingdom, of course.
Ooh.
then it was perfect.
Jay is swinging. Jay is swinging.
Yeah, I don't even know what the new Puddlegate would even be, because there was so many different. There was the it doesn't look as good as the CG take. There was the There was the Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man. Not
It's the web swinging animations.
The
thing,
web
I think, is
swinging.
what I see a lot of people complaining about, and I don't know. I just can't understand it. Like, this is the same Peter Parker that you got in the last game, and we don't know how long after Spider-Man 2. I mean, yeah, right.
The face.
Yeah, right. Oh, I thought you were talking about the symbiote, but that too.
No, that was the joke.
Yeah, we don't know how long after, Spider-Man PS4 or Miles Morales this game takes place, but I imagine it's not too far out. And so he's still like 8-9 years into being Spider-Man. He's going to be familiar with how he moves. He's going to be familiar with what he does, how he swings. I get that maybe there could have been some differences with the symbiote, but he's still in control. Peter's still moving of his own free will here. Maybe as things progress in the game and the symbiote starts to take control some more, you might see a couple of differences in the web swinging to illustrate that, on top of the personality change, on top of him probably becoming Venom at the end of the game. You're going to see little subtle details like that, like the web swinging feeling a bit more aggressive because the symbiote's starting to take control. Plus, who knows what the air tricks are going to be like? That was a large part of the reason that made the web swinging so good in Miles Morales. Like, I don't know about you, but outside of a couple of animations, where Miles like falls backwards or where Miles like flailing his arms in the air, for the most part, if you're just doing regular web swing in Miles Morales, it's just kind of similar, When you start doing air tricks and then comboing air tricks into your web swing, then you really see how unique the animations can get. And I want to see, because they're definitely going to do that for Peter in this game,
of course,
what they give him in that tool set.
So Miles and Peter are definitely fighting, right?
Obviously.
1,000%. And I cannot wait to see, Sadat, the Miles as Spider-Man people, what they're gonna do.
I called it. Like I made a theory video, predicting this very outcome. I said Peter's gonna get the suit.
Yeah,
he's gonna go bad.
Yeah,
Miles is gonna have to run the fade at the end.
I mean, Miles is gonna have, because it's a video game, because it's a superhero story, and the heroes win at the end of the day. Miles is gonna have to win that fight.
Plus especially since he has electricity, which the symbiote is weak against.
Yep.
And that's the thing. I definitely feel like Miles is going to be the one that saves Peter from the symbiote. You know what I mean? Like, and I do feel like there are going to be some people that are going to have to swallow a little bit of copium for that.
Cope.
Yeah.
Miles is going to beat up Peter. Cope.
Yeah. We were having this conversation before you jumped in. Like, I like Miles. To me, and this is just a general conversation because it's always, oh, who's really Spider-Man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't like mantles, and I've been very vocal about that for a long time. I wish, for Miles' sake, he had his own identity that wasn't Spidey or Kid Arachnid, because I feel like he deserves to be his own. And I'm okay with the fact that he is a Spider-Man because we do have the Spiderverse, and that explains it away. But in general, I don't like multiverses or mantles. But like, I don't understand the hill to die on, especially when it comes to like, it's because he's black. That's the reason. A lot of people are like that. But like, I look at the way I looked at it with Thor. I was upset because, that's the guy's name. He is Thor. That's his name.
I think you have a bit more of a leg to stand on with that argument.
Right. But I also look at the people like me that invested so much of their fandom into Thor to have it suddenly stripped from him. That didn't even happen with Peter. But I do sympathize with the hardcore Spider-Man fans who Peter Parker being Spider-Man was a big part of what made him special, you know? So I wish that those people didn't just get lumped in with the racists, but I feel like people at this point need to understand that like Miles is Spider-Man for better or worse, and he's just gonna have to cope. And he's a great character. That's the thing. He's such a great character.
Exactly. And this is the thing that I wanted to say about it is when Miles was first introduced in the comic books, I think I understood sort of the disdain that some people that had for that character, because when he was first introduced in the comics, Miles was Peter Parker. He was just a smart kid who was Spider-Man, you know? And that was like his whole thing, was that he was just like, he was the smart little science student, right? And then we got something like Spider-Verse, which really took the character to the next level. It gave him like individuality. It made it so that, you know, you look at Miles Morales, you look at Peter Parker, and they're two very distinct characters. Then when it comes to, you know, Miles Morales being Spider-Man or Peter Parker being Spider-Man, even though they're both Spider-Man, they're still very distinct characters. And I think ever since then, now leading into like the PS4 game, and then the game that Miles got on his own, and now Spider-Man 2, Miles has become sort of a household name for people who are fans of Spider-Man. And for a lot of people, there's no arguing that, you know, Peter Parker is the Spider-Man they grew up with. That's who they would consider to be the definitive Spider-Man. You can't really make a debate about that. It's kind of the same way for me too. The first ever movie I watched in my entire life as a kid was Spider-Man 1 from Sam Raimi. So yeah, I look at Peter Parker and I think, like, you know, that's the Spider-Man I grew up with. But I look at Miles Morales, I look at Spider-Verse, and I think, how many millions and millions of kids had their first ever movie they ever watched be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and think Miles will be the Spider-Man for them when they grow up, you know? And now Miles is in so much media. He's all over the comics, all over the animated films, probably going to be introduced in live action imminently. And now is, you know, headlines his own game and is pretty much their 1A, 1B with Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2. Miles is Spider-Man. You just have to deal with it. That is the story that writers of several different mediums have chosen to run with. And they've done an incredible job with it so far. So what's the complaining for? What is it? What's even really the problem? Miles is Spider-Man. Peter is Spider-Man. You want to differentiate the two of them, or you want to know who's who, they have real names. You know, if you want to know who's who, guess what? Peter Parker has a name. So you could be like, oh, that's Peter Parker. Miles Morales has a name. Oh, that's Miles Morales. Ben Reilly has a name. Miguel O'Hara has a name. This is how you differentiate these characters. This is how you know who's who, because they have real names and they all have different designs. Miles Morales' Spider-Man looks nothing like Peter Parker's. Spider-Man 2099 looks completely unique from every other Spider-Man. So at the end of the day, I think that this is just nonsensical to even argue it. And yeah, in Spider-Man 2, I am looking forward to and not looking forward to the controversy that's going to come from Miles Morales most definitely defeating Peter Parker so that he can get the symbiote off of him. Because
we're all on the same page
what's going to happen.
Yeah, we all say. I'm not quite on the Peter's going to be Venom. I do think that what they set up so far leads me to believe Harry is not Venom. I think
I would like if Eddie Brock's in the game. I wouldn't mind it.
I think it's going to be Eddie because we know Eddie is in the universe. There, he's he was working at the Bugle. Flash Thompson is also, funny enough, in the universe as well. If they want to go in that direction, but I do think it's going to be another. I do think it's going to one of them, most likely Eddie is going to end up being Venom, and Harry is just the symbiote was attached to him, but didn't bond with him. That seems to be the case.
It's just that line of, you know, Miles saying, "Oh, lizard's got big teeth," and then Peter saying, "So do I." Where I'm like,
they're definitely teasing it, and then the eye shape thing. They definitely tease it, just like they teased the. I pointed this out in my video today, but during the end credit when the symbiote is trying to cover the title card, and then it gets blown away by electricity.
Yeah, right.
I was like, they're telling us, they're telling us what's about to happen.
I'll ask you guys the question then, though. Let's say, okay, even if it's, well, actually no, let's say Peter becomes Venom. Do you think that's the final boss, or do you think that Kraven's still the very end?
I think Kraven's at the end.
Yeah,
you think Kraven?
I think Peter's going to shed the suit or shed the symbiote.
Yeah,
and I think we're going to see it bond with Eddie somehow, and that's going to set up Spider-Man 3.
There's some interesting
stuff.
I
think Green Goblin's the setup for Spider-Man 3.
Could have both.
There's a possibility. Like I keep remembering what Najee Jeter said about symbiotes everywhere. and
yeah,
that got me thinking. I made a fan theory about this before as well, but Red Goblin. We could see Red Goblin, not necessarily green, not necessarily
like Hobgoblin. You mean, or
no? There's
the Carnage Green Goblin. Like, Norman basically takes the symbiote, and which was a sample from Carnage's symbiote, and he combines it with his Goblin formula, and becomes like this super version of like a hybrid up between a Goblin and Carnage. And
I think that's interesting. I think that Spider-Man 3, like, I think one way or another, Harry will die in this game. Like, he'll succumb to his like sickness, and like Norman will go crazy because of it. And I think Spider-Man 3 is just gonna be good old-fashioned Spider-Man versus Green Goblin, because in the comics, at least for me, growing up, the Joker to Batman of Spider-Man's universe is Green Goblin, you know. So I always see that to be his ultimate like nemesis, his ultimate villain, and I would like for them to build up to that. Or maybe, you know, who knows, maybe Harry gets cured, or maybe whatever cures Harry does so by means that makes him kind of evil, and he ends up being the Green Goblin, you know. Like, they could do something like that too.
True. I think regardless, the Goblin gets revealed in this game.
Yeah,
whether he actually fights. Yeah, whether he actually fights or is just like a tease for the next game.
Yeah,
I think this is the game.
Yeah, I agree.
I also think that you could. I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I think Green Goblin is obviously the direction we're going, because we've seen so much of Norman.
Yeah.
And it's been such a big part of it. So it's obviously going to lead to that. But, you know, maybe we just have Venom replace, what was it? Screwball? You know, you got to do all these Venom challenges, and
oh god,
listen, I would be down if they wanted to make their little, like, their in between game, their next Spider-Man Miles Morales, like smaller, to be like a Venom game. And I would be a bit more on board with the idea of Venom being the anti-hero if at first he was the villain. You know, I want them to start with Venom's a giant, scary ass monster, and he's gonna beat the crap out of you, and that's that. You know, like, he's just the big villain that you're afraid of, and then maybe you give him his own game. You give a little bit of that lethal protector flair, leading into like a Spider-Man 3 where he could potentially help them. You know, I don't know if I'd be like fully on board with it, but I think that's a better sell to me than like what the Venom movies have done, where he's just a good guy. You know,
or even just make it a DLC.
Yeah, sure.
There is that.
I hope in some way it would be cool if Venom is playable, and especially if Peter becomes Venom, that makes that all the more likely.
Oh, that would have to be playable.
So yeah, I mean, you know, that it could be sick.
I think there's a way for Peter to go full Venom without being Venom. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I think ultimately he's gonna have the face and the teeth and all that. So yeah,
it'll be interesting.
We're all there. Now, people, this is the one thing that's driving me nuts. I understand that a lot of the symbiote suits that we see are smooth and whatever, but why don't people understand that this is their interpretation of it, and this is literally an alien life form taking over his body? Like, I actually really like their interpretation of the way the suit is, because, you know, you've got those tendrils shooting out, and you think they just like all of a sudden slide back into like this nice, like, silky smooth suit. Like, it makes more sense to me that it's a living thing and it's moving and it's going to be a little clumpy, and I don't know.
It makes sense. I do prefer the smoother look though.
Yeah. I'm very interested in the idea too, if we're still running on that theory of like Peter becomes Venom, is that who knows how long he's had the symbiote at this point? Who knows if when he first gets the symbiote, it is that smooth, normal looking symbiote.
That's true.
But as time's going on, as the symbiote's becoming more kind of alive, living on top of Peter's suit, it's starting to take control, and it's, you get the visual representation of that through kind of like, though it literally looks like muscle tissue sitting on top of the suit, which is what I like about it. Again, I think around the legs it just looks a little weird. But like the top half, and then for me as well, like all I needed The most important thing they needed to do for the symbiote suit for me to be happy, or at the very least content, is I needed just plain big white eyes and that normal classic symbiote logo.
Nailed
on the
it.
chest.
Was
That's
perfection.
all I need. If you get those two things, then yeah, okay, I'll complain about some of the other stuff if I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm content. You know, I'm cool with it.
And they nailed the combat too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Watch the symbiote suit be like the Raimi suit if they don't
God.
make it smooth.
Yeah.
And people are just gonna complain about it so much that like halfway, like 5 weeks after release, there's gonna be all right, fine. Here's a classic smooth symbiote suit. Jeez, leave us alone.
No, they're literally going to ask for the Raimi version of the symbiote suit.
Oh, that's true too.
Instead,
dude, that's it right there. There you go.
So this is what I wonder is, will they do a thing for like all the alternate suits have a symbiote version of it? I think something like that could be cool, because if they bring back the Raimi suit, then there you go. That's a way you service the fans in that way. And then as well, like, you know, then if you choose the classic suit, you can get the classic symbiote suit as the alternative, you know?
Now, do you think this is a little deep dive, but like I feel like, do you think they're going to bring all the suits from the first game back? Like, and do you think people will complain if they don't?
I feel like them reusing the city or still having Manhattan be a fully playable area makes it so that is something you could get your hopes up for. But also they probably have data and analytics on their end as to who used what kinds of suits the most. Like, I don't think a lot of people were running around in the ghost spider suit. You know, I don't think a lot of people were running around in the undies suit. So they might
be surprised.
I mean, yeah, okay, that's fair. So what I suspect is that they might do like the greatest hits and port those over, and then just build upon that list. You know?
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's obviously different spider suits on the table that they can, you know, pull from, especially now that there's Across the Spiderverse. You know, you've got all these different multiverse Spider-Men and everything. I don't think, because this is something that people have like brought up before, but like everybody gets so fixated on this is my favorite suit. Why can't I play as that? It's literally already in the game. You literally already made it, you know, like that's a thing that happens all the time. But I don't know. I don't see that. I'm just something that popped in my head. And also think about the fact that like there's probably gonna be suits for Miles too.
Yep.
But that could be just a very collectible thing that is easy for them to do if they do want to put some of those suits in. But didn't I hear something like they had issues putting more suits in because of
they ran out of disk space on the PlayStation 4 version, which is why the No Way Home suits couldn't be added to the PS4. And some people tried to call BS on it. I don't have the peek behind the curtain enough to understand the ins and outs of it.
It's probably true.
I usually tend to believe in game devs when they say stuff like that, because they added so much additional free suits and content to Spider-Man PS4 that if they really wanted to, and as well, think about it this way: Ragnarok coming to PS4, Forbidden West coming to PS4, you know, like Miles Morales coming to PS4. They weren't trying to have people miss out, you know, like PlayStation hasn't been like, we need to start edging people towards the PS5 or something. Like, if they really could have put those suits on the PS4, they probably would have, in all honesty. So I believe them when they say there just wasn't enough disk space left.
Yeah, that would have been a weird hill to die on.
Now Caboose, there's an interesting question. You know things.
I don't know things, but
but you know things.
Okay.
So obviously a lot of people were expecting the Wolverine to potentially get something, but that's not going to happen. We could assume that game's like, you know, 2024, 2025 maybe.
Yeah.
But do you buy into the idea that Insomniac is kind of leading into its own Marvel interconnected universe beyond Wolverine, or do you think they're going to go in a completely different direction with their game after that?
I think they're going to make the games connected in the sense that the Wolverine from that game exists in the same world as Spider-Man from that game. But I don't think you're going to see this big Wolverine Spider-Man team up game, especially too if the rumors are true and Wolverine ends up being this like M-rated going all out game. I don't know how much they want those wires to cross. What you could see happen is, especially if Venom is playable, a nice little retreading of Ultimate Spider-Man. We bust open into a bar as Venom, and who's there smoking a cigar, having a drink, but Wolverine. And then that Wolverine is the same one that carries on into his own game. Or maybe, you just get a little Easter egg, a little hint of Wolverine saying, oh, that Venom guy, I fought a big guy like that once, except he was green, something like that. Like little things like that, to just give you an idea that this world is connected. But also not to get anybody thinking like, oh, the Spider-Man Wolverine game is next, But yeah, I feel like it would be really weird if Insomniac was making 2 Marvel games that were completely separate universes, because people are already confused when we saw the Avengers Tower and then that line that the Avengers are doing something on the West Coast, and then the Avengers game comes out and they're on the West Coast. But they were like, "Oh no, they're not connected. No. Everyone was like, "Wait, what?" But like, huh?
I think that was more so because no one wanted to be associated with Marvel's Avengers.
Well, yes. But even those that, like, even when it was first revealed, there were still some people that were on board, or still some people that were potentially excited, and it was confusing for those people. So it would be even more confusing if you saw that Insomniac was developing these 2 Marvel games that had nothing to do with one another. So. And who knows? Maybe we'll even see something like a little cameo from Wolverine at like the post-credit scene of the game, like him and Spider-Man are just chatting, or him and Peter Parker are just chatting, or something like that. And he's like, "Hey, I gotta go off to Madripoor," and that's where we like, "Oh, okay, that's the setup for his game now," like something like that.
Do you think they showed Wolverine too soon?
If it's coming out next year, no.
Yeah, because I look at first of all, this isn't necessarily the transition, but I look at the way that Mortal Kombat handled it, and granted, worst kept secret, everybody knew, like for a long time, but like they're like, all right, here's our official trailer. It's coming out in like 4 months, and we're just going with it now. And I feel like I feel bad for Insomniac, because there are people that just want they want to know like poop schedules. They want to know everything that's going on.
Somebody is tying their shoelaces.
Exactly. And like, obviously with Wolverine, we know they teased it very early on in the process. They made that clear. They're like, hey, this is a thing that we're working on. And now it's very clearly been radio silent since.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if it kind of would have been cool if they were able to, if it was still a secret, if they were able to do that scene that you just say, and like that was the first we found out about a Marvel's Wolverine game. And it's unfortunate that they didn't do that for a setup, but I don't know, that what you just said just made me kind of think about that. How cool would that have been?
In a perfect world where you don't have things like, investors and things like that to like keep in mind, like the very businessy side of the games industry, like that would be incredible. And as a fan, I would prefer that too. I would prefer that we see a post-credit scene that has like, somebody sitting there talking to Peter, and you're like, who is that? And then he pulls out his claws or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, no way. Like that would be incredible. But at the end of the day, a big reason why even any game has those CGI trailers and then don't come out for like 6 years is because they're trying to hire people.
Yeah.
They're demo reels for the studio to send out to people to be like, hey, are you excited? You should come work with us, right? It's same thing. I mean, literally look at Monolith, like the guys who are working on the Wonder Woman game.
Yep.
Look at their Twitter. For nothing for the last like 2 years has been job postings. Even like with Gotham Knights, for like 2 years since that game was first revealed, it was nothing but job postings. So that's just how this works. Like that's just how like the industry works.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in a perfect world, we would have had that reveal kind of saved closer to when the game was coming out. I think the reason why Mortal Kombat gets away with it is because they got their crew, they got their team, and for them, they know like anybody can make a safe bet that Mortal Kombat is going to sell like 5, 6, 7 million copies, right?
Well, that was what I kept saying about Spider-Man. Is like people like, well, where's the trailer? Where's more info? Where's this? Where's that? Like, guys, they could shadow drop Spider-Man 2 tomorrow, and it would still be the highest selling PlayStation game of all time in the first week.
Yeah.
Like
now granted, Sony's going to probably allocate like 75% of their total marketing budget for Spider-Man 2 just to make sure as many people as possible are buying PlayStation 5s to play the game. But like with Mortal Kombat, it's just one of those instances where like same with MK11, you know, they showed it at the Game Awards. It came out in 4 months. Just a tight little marketing schedule that you don't stop with the trailers. You keep people invested, you keep people interested, and then the game's out. You know, like those games just have like a tighter development cycle. And I think the folks at NetherRealm like really got it on lock. Like they have it kind of figured out. And I mean, now they just announced today that like they're doing a stress test for Mortal Kombat 1. That's supposedly, or at least, you know, we could all assume will take place even before the beta that's in August. So we're going to be playing the game very soon. And I can't wait. I hope I get into that stress test, man. I want to play this game.
Well,
imagine you not.
hey, I signed up just like everybody else, so I don't know.
Me
I don't know.
But people also don't appreciate how long and how much work these trailers are. These CG trailers.
For sure.
I was just watching on Grubs. They mentioned that he was told it can be like 6 months of dev time they have to dedicate for one of these trailers. 2 months if they're out, even if they're outsourcing. Yeah. So that's something people should definitely keep in mind when they're asking for all these trailers. I will
say, you know, not to be like not to talk down on any of the people that actually work at these studios and work on these games, but I feel like Mortal Kombat didn't even need a CGI trailer. Like, look at Spider-Man. We don't even have a release date for that yet, and it's assumedly going to come out within September to November because it's in the fall.
Thank you, Tony Todd.
Yeah, shout out to Tony Todd. But like they just came straight out with some gameplay for that, you know? Like I feel like Mortal Kombat, like we can get to that point now too, where we just give us like a cool like story trailer, show a little gameplay right off the bat, like right from the get-go. Because I can imagine that CGI trailer was pretty expensive to make.
Oh God, yeah.
And
worth it.
Worth it for
incredible
for my eyes. But I feel like, you know, they could have saved a lot of money if they were to just be like, you know, let's just.
You think that was one of the problems Suicide Squad ran into? Because they had a bunch of CG trailers, not a lot of gameplay until that one state of play.
The second trailer wasn't necessarily a CGI trailer; it was just all cutscenes. Like that's the year after the reveal when they came back to DC fandom, and even then, to give them credit, like I will say, Suicide Squad. Whether or not you're hyped for the game or based on what you've seen, you didn't like it, they've done a good job at showing you the game at a good pace. You know, they CGI reveal DC fandom in 2020, 2021 story trailer with cutscenes and in-game look. And then that year at the Game Awards, we got the gameplay trailer. And what was that? Was that 2021? I think that's where, you know, we went on a bit of a hiatus. We went on a bit of a radio silence there.
I remember at the top of 2020, I think it was like the beginning of 2022, we had that little sizzle reel that showed a little bit of game. It was like 30 seconds total worth of gameplay.
Yeah.
And then we had the announcement of the delay until 2023.
Yeah.
And then we got the Game Awards, the Batman one that year, that the end of
right. There you go. Right. So the Game Awards in 2022 had the Batman trailer, which a lot of people were very hyped about. And I think they did a great job at honoring Kevin Conroy during that. And then not too long after that, then we got the State of Play, which, well, you know. But every year since its reveal, there's been a new update for the game. And so I think they haven't been sitting here not giving us anything to chomp on since reveal in 2020.
Did you ever get the chance to meet Kevin Conroy?
I did. Really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Oh, so lucky.
I went to Boston Fan Expo like right before he passed, and he was there. And I will never forget. I'm like, you know what? I only have a certain amount of money with me today. I'll just get him at the next one because I really thought about it, and I have regrets.
Yeah,
as you should.
For me, the first time that I met him, the only thing that I wish was that I got something else signed. Like I just got like a hat at the time signed because I was big into collecting hats. So I wish that there was something that like, you know, if I went back and bought like the old DVD set for Batman the Animated Series that I could give him
Oh,
to
that would have
sign.
been amazing.
But he was a super nice guy. I met him at my local convention, Fan Expo Canada.
Nice.
And all I remember was before I was going to line up to meet him, he had quite the lineup already, because he's Kevin Conroy. And I guess just to please the crowd, because everyone was getting a little tired from lining up for so long, he like stood up on his chair and he gave the like "I am the Knight" quote. He just yelled it out at the crowd. It's such a cool moment. And like he's such an icon. And I don't think I'll ever in my life, you know, pick up a Batman comic and not hear his voice in my head.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. And yeah, like that's one of the like celebrity deaths that really devastated me, man. It's really out of nowhere.
Speaking of your local comic conventions, I heard you ran into our buddy High Roller recently.
Yes. Yeah. There
Really?
was a Twitch event. In Toronto, and I met High Ruler.
Now this is the type of crossover that we get behind.
Synchro Champ as well. I mean, the first time I met that guy, a really cool guy. They're both great. I'll
tell you a little story about Synchro Champ. The nicest, I mean, no offense to you, literally the nicest Canadian I've ever met. Okay. Not in person, just like in general. Right? I'm sorry, don't be offended.
Wow, you haven't even met him in person, and he's already above me.
Yes.
You put him above Miller?
We randomly had a talk about how much my wife loves Kit Kats. And he's like, oh, there's a Kit Kat store at the Yorktown Mall, which I know about because there used to be a Bose store. I'm like, oh, no way. It's like, yeah, you can make your own Kit Kats.
Yep.
And he went there and picked up the ones that I asked for and sent them to me to give to her for her birthday. And I obviously paid him for it. But like, I will always.
Intact?
I'm sorry?
Did it arrive?
It arrived great. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he actually went and took care of those Kit Kats, and it lasted her. We put them in the fridge, lasted a month, and she was happy. So that's my Synchro Champ story.
He gets that one. He gets that one over here.
Yeah, I do appreciate that you asked him about if he was still Vexless.
Yeah. Yes. You know, I haven't interacted with High Ruler at all at that point. And all I remember is that, you know, obviously we followed each other because we were both in the Avengers Discord and we were doing all that. And he would always tweet that he never get the Vex in Destiny 2. And then I remember I was getting back into it and I raided with my buddies and I got the Vex. And the first ever interaction I ever had with that guy on Twitter was tweeting him saying, hey, I got the Vex.
That's awesome. Wow.
Perfect.
You're just even bigger the legend in my eyes now.
And Hyrule deserved every bit of it.
Exactly. He did.
All right. Do we want to, I know we're getting close to your time. Let's maybe talk a little bit of Mortal Kombat now.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Little Mortal Kombat. I'm not, full disclosure, I'm not really a fighting game guy. Outside of kicking Jay's ass in Demon Slayer.
He did. That did happen
badly.
And I had to. I now own a do-rag because of it.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
and he had to put it on.
Yes, we're not.
Oh my god!
Which he also did badly.
Yes.
But I'm a little intrigued by Mortal Kombat, mainly because of the possibility of Homelander and Omni-Man. So, what do you know?
I don't know nothing. I mean, I've heard about the Homelander rumor. I haven't heard anything about Omni-Man. I'll be honest with you. I try my best to stay away from stuff like that because, like, you know, like Jay, when it comes to things like this, I want to go in as surprised as possible. Right. But yeah, I mean, Homelander in Mortal Kombat, that was my number one pick for guest characters I'd like to see in the game. Like that's just that, and like John Wick, like it just writes itself. You know, like I don't even need to sit there and explain to you or pitch to you why it would make sense. It's just, you know, all I say is Homelander, Mortal Kombat, and you're like, I get it. You know, like all I say is John Wick, Mortal Kombat, and you're like, you don't even just say no more, say less, right?
So how excited are you that we just got Melina out of the way in the first trailer, so that we didn't have to hear about it for like ever?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited that I didn't need to say anything about it. I'm very excited that I didn't need people to email me insulting me, and then when I post about people emailing me insulting me on Twitter, people accuse me of emailing myself those insults. I'm glad that we got it all out of the way with the Melina stands. You know, she's in the game. We're good. All right, that's it. Like we can shut up about it now.
Can you confirm? Can you confirm the rumor that you're being added as a DLC guest character?
I can neither confirm nor deny, but I mean, I will say if you get that premium edition, there's a combat pack, 6 additional characters. If you're a fan of the channel, just get it. You know, no. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they got it out of the way. Honestly, I think that reveal trailer was really effective. They did a really good job. Gave us a good look at some of the characters that we all know will be in the game, but we get to see them. And then just give you a bit of a refresher on what's going on story-wise as well. I thought that was really cool.
How great was it to get in that reaction TikTok? First leading off, Caboose.
Wait, what's that? Oh, the TikTok that they posted on the official channel. You were in that too.
I know. I was surprised. I was very surprised. Like, I know that like they're aware of me and everything. You know, we have good relationship with WB. I expect to be in there, all right? Especially leading off
from that should have been in there though.
Why would they? Why would you?
I know. Uncaged.
Of course.
And his video was freaking awesome.
I mean, listen. I like that people come to tune into my channel for Mortal Kombat. I like that people watch you for Mortal Kombat. But we would be fools not to admit that outside of people like Maximilian, who are like the tippy top, Uncaged Games is probably like the guy for Mortal Kombat. You know, it'd be like if they did a compilation of Spider-Man related stuff on TikTok and they excluded me, you know, not that oh man, I'm sounding so like snobby now, but like, you know, I got the symbiote. But like, I don't know. I just find that weird that they didn't put put him in
one of my favorite memories of the whole Mortal Kombat 11 thing. And I'm sure you remember this when we were at NetherRealm, we went into the room they do their streams in. And as we were leaving, I swear to God, they did this on purpose. Somebody left their workstation open. And at this point, Johnny Cage hadn't been unveiled yet. And I happened to be walking with Caboose and Uncaged. And as we're walking by this person's desk, you just see Johnny Cage.
And we're all trying to cover his eyes. Like, don't look.
Yeah. And he just sees it. And his face, I'll never forget it. I mean, and then we walk into their theater and get shown the Johnny Cage trailer.
Well, what was so funny about that too, and I feel so bad for him because like you said, that was the first time that we were seeing Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 11. And it was such a cool opportunity. You know, we're sitting at NetherRealm Studios. They put us in their little theater room, show us the trailer. We even asked too, we're like, you guys cool if we just film ourselves reacting?
Yeah.
And we watched the trailer and we all thought, you know, when the time comes for the trailer to be like officially revealed, that we would be able to put our reactions out. But we were embargoed past the trailer releasing, and it released on IGN at like 3 a.m. I remember. And Uncaged, that poor guy had to like wake up in the middle of the night to record his reaction. And it couldn't even be his genuine first time seeing the trailer because of the circumstances.
Yeah, but it was still a really, really cool like experience to be able to like be there for it. I didn't know you guys as well at that time, but I still appreciated and understood the moment. Like that, like how, like, I don't know. I can't think of like, that would be like if we're in Marvel's office and, you know, we walk by somebody's desk and there was like a rendering of Nova in the MCU on the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I was like, man, that's freaking cool. Good for him. So I'll always remember that.
I just love the duality of Jay. He's like, oh man, I can't believe they included me on their reaction TikTok. That was so unexpected. Oh, so that time when I was at NetherRealm Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that, but like I always feel like I always have a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for?
Imposter syndrome?
Yes. When it comes to Mortal Kombat, because like I definitely was invited to some of the Mortal Kombat stuff because I built a good relationship covering other WB games. And because like I was never into fighting games that much until Injustice. Injustice is what brought me over. And I'm still not great at them, but I enjoy them. I did beat Caboose in 1 round of a Mortal Kombat match.
Allegedly.
I think he put the controller down, but like
that's what I assumed.
I did beat him in 1 round. He won the match, but like I'll hold on to that forever. But like I feel that way because like I know that like there's all these other creators where like this is their game. And I feel like I'm taking away from them being in it. And I know that I shouldn't feel that way, but I just appreciated. I made that face again when I saw that I was actually there. That's how it was. So yeah.
I mean, I get like, I don't think there's anybody who's a content creator in the history of the universe that doesn't feel some sort of imposter syndrome sometimes. Yeah. Like for me, I think my moment was, and I think it was a little more justified because I, back in 2018, when E3 was still a thing and when PlayStation doing E3 was still a thing, they did that Sinister 6 demo for Spider-Man PS4. And the way that they had set up their presence at E3 that year was they were shuffling people from one theater to another. They had recreated the set from The Last of Us 2 to show people The Last of Us 2 stuff. And then they shuffled them to another theater for like Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man PS4, all this and that. And after they had done their showcase, they had a little outdoor event where they had like a section dedicated to Spider-Man PS4 and they had the game playable. And unfortunately, I didn't get invited to go and like attend that. So what happened was a friend of mine did. And the way that you get in is you just have a little wristband. And he texted me and he said, "Hey, dude, I'm leaving this event. Do you want to come by and take my wristband?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I want to." And that's the only reason why. And I think I uploaded the video with my hands-on thoughts and everything. It's the only reason I ever got to play that game early. Granted, I got to play it again on the actual E3 show floor. But this was the press conference like right before E3's like starting, And so like that, I remember that being like a big moment for me where I was like, damn, like I literally don't belong here. I wasn't actually invited. But here I am playing Spider-Man right now, and I'm definitely going to be making a video about this. So, I get the feeling. And I mean, even nowadays, like when you get one of those invites, when you get one of those emails that you get to do something cool related to what you do on your channel, it still gets me like amped. It hasn't for me ever become a feeling of like, oh yeah, here we go again. It's always for me like, let's go, man. Like, oh my God, I didn't. It's like, it's almost like I'm reacting like, again, like I was like, maybe I wasn't going to get invited. You never know. Because back in Justice 2, hands-on for that, I didn't get invited for that game. I actually didn't get to go play. And
robbed
for a lot. I mean, I was reading your chat just now earlier when you asked me, Jay, about what you would want me to be known as. And a lot of people were saying that they know me as the Injustice guy, and I never got to do the early capture event for that game. And Ed Boon was there. And I mean, J-Roar, Uncaged, all of them got to go. They had an amazing experience. And I never got to go. I was the Squidward looking out the window while Patrick and SpongeBob were having fun,
Well, I think it's safe to say, when we were in Montreal, I kind of had that feeling too, because like we were the only 3 content creators that were there.
Yeah.
Which like just blew me away.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
didn't surprise me at all when I saw the three that were out there. I was like, of course it's Jay, Uncaged, and Caboose. Who else would it be at WWE Montreal for this?
I think they regret it after all my elevator pitches. But...
I mean, I will say Jay's samurai ninja Batman pitch.
Oh, that's crazy! You know what he's talking about.
Oh yeah,
too. Okay,
believe me, I've told this story a few times.
It's valid. I'll give it that. It's not what I would have pitched if I was there, but valid.
It just came to my head right away.
Game, but it's Batman Ninja. Like, yeah, I'll take it.
They were pitching the obvious Superman game,
Yeah.
So I wasn't planning on pitching anything. So I just kind of jumped in on it. I was like, all right, well, how about a Batman Ninja game in feudal Japan?
See, I would have been different and pitched the Flash game, which I made a video about. How to build
get you out to the next
the perfect version. I can if they need any tips, I can tell them exactly how to make it.
Our next WWE Montreal trip is not going to have anything to do with being there for early capture for any game. It's just going to be there to give pitches for games that
literally that's all. I don't even if I'm perfectly fine with it. If I can get them, if I can talk their up, if Patrick can because I talked to Patrick, I tried to get him to tell me about the next game they're working on, but he wouldn't budge.
Patrick Redding, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's a nice guy. I love that guy.
Yeah. I keep trying to get him to give me spoilers, but he never takes the bait. So I respect I respect it. But if I could just sit up there pitching DC games they should be making, I would take the opportunity.
Yeah.
So who's one character that we haven't obviously seen many characters for Mortal Kombat 1 yet?
Yeah.
Who's like a deep cut character that you want
for Mortal Kombat 1? I mean, if we're going back to the 3D era, I would like to see Havoc come back. I think he's one of the coolest 3D era characters that we haven't seen in a long time. And for me as well, like just the boss characters we need to get some love for them. Like I want to see Onaga. I want to, the Dragon King. I want to see like Blaze. And then at the end of the day, as long as this game has like every single one of the Mortal Kombat ninjas under the sun, I'm happy. Like I've had enough of the guys who shoot guns. I've had enough of the guys that are just all military. Mortal Kombat was built on ninjas. Let's bring that back. Especially if we're going back to 1, let's go back to 1.
So who's your like not deep cut, but just in general most wanted?
Like out of everyone,
yeah, like
that. I'm trying to remember who I put as number 1 on my list.
Oh, I should have seen that.
I wish I could remember. I made a list.
I'm a Reptile guy.
But like Ermac obviously is great. Reptile would be great. Chameleon would be super cool. Smoke, of course, and I think human like form Smoke would be sick. I wish I could remember who I had at number 1 so that I can tell you. Let me just go look at that video while you guys stall for me, and then I can remind myself of who my number 1 pick is.
Female ninjas, scantily clad. I'm done. Well, I mean, Katana and Melina already confirmed. Which I'm hoping my man Kotal Khan is back, but I'm not counting on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that return. I think Kotal Khan, I think like a lot of the newer characters that we got from like MKX and then into MK11, we might not see, except for like some of the really cool ones. I don't know, but we might not see them in MK1 just because of what they're doing with the whole timeline reset thing.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and I feel the same way about Injustice 3 if we ever get to that. Like my favorite character to play is Atrocitus. He's like literally my favorite DC Comics character. I have Atrocitus hanging out with me on my desk.
He never stops talking about Atrocitus.
So my number 1 was Onaga, the Dragon King. Like probably the mother of all Mortal Kombat bosses. So yeah, gotcha. Like that's got to be my number 1.
Perfect. Yeah. So I don't know that Atrocitus. I mean, I feel like a lot of people actually played Atrocitus though, surprisingly. But I don't know that we'll see him again. Yeah, I just love Atrocitus in general. So
yeah.
I haven't played a single Injustice game, by the way.
That's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
I just love the way that I love the NetherRealm formula, how they've incorporated an actual story mode into these games.
Yeah.
And it's not just a pick it up and fight game. You know what I mean?
I should get one because I did watch a bunch of the Injustice 2 cutscenes and I'm pretty sure I can still get it for free on PlayStation Plus.
Well, Injustice 2 was, I remember, one of the first times people were looking at NetherRealm and the facial animations and being like whoa, like we're really stepping it up here with what you can do for like acting in video games, like obviously The Last of Us has a lot of that too. But like in a fighting game, people just expect you're just gonna have characters fight and that's it. Like the whole main draw of the game is you play with your friend or you jump online and just fight. And granted, at the end of the day, that's what you log the most amount of hours into playing the game. But what Jay said, I love that what NetherRealm do is they very much care about a good story for their games. Like from Mortal Kombat 9 into Mortal Kombat X, 11, now Mortal Kombat 1, Injustice 1, Injustice 2. Those all have like pretty interesting storylines to them, honestly.
Oh, they have like many seasons of Injustice comics.
Yes. Yeah, it was huge. Yeah.
Now, this is a great question too that I've always kind of thought about. Here's a pitch, an open world Mortal Kombat game. Like you think about like the crypt and how that looks. And
yes,
it always made me think man, it would be really cool if there was like kind of an RPG-ish open world Mortal Kombat game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I wonder if they could ever pull something like that off.
I'd be interested.
I mean, yeah, Shaolin Monks 2, that's actually just like a full-on like story mode campaign, you know, like even just a linear like type action adventure, but Mortal Kombat would be so cool. It's just that I feel like NetherRealm wants to do it. Like, I don't doubt that that's something that they would like to stretch their muscles in, but they're just scared. They're scared of the way that they can alienate the audience that is there for the fighting component of the games. And so the best way to be going around this is like, if they have a big enough studio, if they had enough people working there to do them both, you know, have Mortal Kombat 1, and then 6 months later, Shaolin Monks remaster or something like that, or whatever the next Shaolin Monks would be, right? Because even all the way back during the Midway days when they were doing like Sub-Zero mythologies, they were trying to make non-fighting game Mortal Kombat games, you know, and it's just it never landed the way that the Mortal Kombat games have, and that's why they just decided, you know, okay, if we're gonna make these fighting games, we're at least gonna give them really cool stories. You know?
Maybe do it like Ghost of Tsushima. You know, have the open world single adventure, and then you have the separate multiplayer mode that goes. I
kind of hope Spider-Man 2 does that.
Same. That's what I think they might. That's what I think they're
player from the start, little co-op mode later on. You know, make your cake, have it too sort of situation. I would like to see that.
It makes sense, and it would make Najee Jeter sound like people are really talking like crazy about Najee Jeter right now. And I'm like, that had to come from somewhere. like
I just think he was like mistaken. I feel like he just didn't like at the end of the day, these guys, like, especially when I think in my mind of somebody like Troy Baker, that dude probably has like at least 40 or 50 projects that won't be announced for like 5 years that he's working on. You know,
how do you keep track of that?
How do you keep track? How do you even remember what the mechanics of the games are? What's happening in these games? You know, so like for Najee Jeter, I don't know if he necessarily gets the same amount of work that someone like Troy Baker does, but I know Najee Jeter definitely
he gets work though.
He definitely gets work, right? Like, I mean, even from before Miles Morales, he was Sam in The Last of Us. Like, this dude's been around, right? He's a pretty well-known voice actor.
Maybe it's possible that when he was referring to co-op, maybe he was referring to just how the game is structured, how it's
where you're
very much
the
Peter,
game
Miles,
is co-op where you're playing as both of them. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, because they've got individual skill trees, but they also have some shared skill trees. They're going to be switching back and forth throughout the story, so it is very cooperative in that way. Like they're at the same time, like you saw during the dock chase scene.
Yeah,
you have your AI Spidey on this side while Miles is swinging, and then it switches.
So I'll ask you guys this question now, because I mean the demo that we saw was very like on rails. There's specific portions you switch to Miles, specific portions you switch to Peter. Do you think there will ever be parts where, you know, like you can choose, like you press a button and you'll switch over to Miles? Like, will there be an actual boss battle against Lizard in a little arena, and Miles and Peter are facing off against him, and you get to choose, I want to do these cool special moves with Peter, and then I want to switch over to Miles and do his special moves now? You know, like, do you think we'll have an opportunity to do that, or you think it's just going to be like that gameplay demo, just completely on rails until maybe like the end of the game where you get to just switch on your own accord?
That's what I think. I think it's going to be kind of like what you did with Catwoman in Arkham City. Like,
true.
You know, I feel once you beat the game, I feel like you'll be able to switch seamlessly.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to do that. I think during the game, there's just going to be, you're on this chapter, you have to play as this one of them.
Right.
Because it's all part of the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're definitely going to have missions where you are kind of in that Arkham experience where you're fighting, where you're both there at the same time, and you can do team up attacks, co-op. Maybe there's a certain command or that can be like takedown button while in that specific situation. I think they're definitely going to incorporate that more, and I think it's going to be like kind of GTA 5 style with the free roam.
Yeah.
Where you're just going to be able to switch to Miles or Peter in different parts of the city.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was also thinking of, but couldn't remember which game did it, because you could switch to between those three at any time, and they were just happened to be somewhere. You know?
Yeah. I just thought it was so cool in Arkham Knight when you had like the combat sections with Nightwing or with Robin or Catwoman that you could like, and I like too that they even incorporated it into the takedowns. Like you build your takedown meter with the co-op partner that's there, you know, to do the dual takedown, where when you want to switch, they actually go and like take down one of the enemies. I thought that was like such a cool idea. And I guess maybe they're not going to be able to do that or emulate that in Spider-Man 2, because at the end of the day too, like there's only so many things you can make the buttons do before you run out of buttons that have functionality.
I feel like they wouldn't have put it in the reveal trailer if it wasn't something that we'd be able to do in the game. I think
there's definitely going to be like dual takedowns.
I think there's definitely 100% going to be that.
Yeah.
I
just don't know. Very least. Will there be an opportunity again, like I said, where you're in a combat section, Miles and Peter, they're together, and I'm like, okay, I should still take down this guy. I want to switch to Miles now. I press a button, camera pans over, and I'm Miles, you know?
Would certainly be interesting.
Well,
I know that we're running out of time, and one other thing completely kind of touches on this, but like in general, why does everybody seem to be so against the idea of co-op? And why is it that when we talk about wanting co-op in a game, people just automatically go to, well, I don't want it to be live service.
Yeah. So I was about to answer your question, but then you answered the question. It's that you hear co-op, you hear multiplayer, you hear online for a game, and immediately everyone's like, oh my God, live service. Like my life is over, you know? And it's like even with Gotham Knights, like I don't even think a big reason why that game wasn't as successful as it could have been was because it was co-op, you know, like that for me is at least a part of what I was having fun with for the game. Now granted, should it have been 60 FPS, you know, like all these like different arguments that people have had, like did it live up to standard to the next gen games that are out today? Whatever, like it's just I'm exhausted by the whole Gotham Knights discourse, so I don't even engage in it, or like I didn't even want to like give my thoughts of the aftermath of it all. But at the end of the day, like I don't think it was that game having co-op that was its death sentence, and I don't think that will be the case for Suicide Squad either. You know, it's just I don't know what it is these days where if you want to scare a gamer, you say one of two things: you say co-op, or you say it's an RPG, and it's like people are trembling because they hear those things
because they don't have friends. That's what it is.
I guess that's the way to put it.
I just don't for me, I feel like it's ironic because one of the things a lot of people are complaining about now with Gotham Knights is that there's no DLC.
Yep.
But I thought there was that game was set up perfect to have chapters. Like, okay, you know, now we've got the Scarecrow chapter, you know, and we're not going to get that. And I almost feel like it's their fault because like everybody just complains about everything, you know, and I don't mind the idea of live service. I think there's I really like what Halo did, Halo Infinite. Their battle passes are forever, you know? So if you have the battle pass, like you are not necessarily FOMO'd into playing, you know?
Yeah.
So like if I feel like if more games just did that, then it wouldn't be so big of a deal. And if you're just doing cosmetics, like what does it matter? You're going to play the game and enjoy it.
That's
Don't
the thing.
buy it.
You got to clear that initial barrier because a lot of gamers are incredibly stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. They there was someone literally trying to argue with me.
Gamers don't understand game development anymore.
Anything. People don't know anything.
They don't treat the actual developers like humans anymore. You know, they like at the end of the day, like we've certainly gotten past, and I think you were talking about this earlier, Jay. There's just no more. That game was all right. You know, there's just no more like, yeah, that game was a 7 out of 10. You know, there's just like, well, if it wasn't a 10 out of 10, I guess that's the absolute worst thing that it could possibly be. You know,
exactly.
Like there is no more, there's no such thing anymore as a good game. And I understand that for a lot of people, $70, it's a huge hike to pay for a game. So you want to make sure that every penny is worth it when you play the game. But if it comes to it, you have the opportunity to return the game, or if it comes to it and you get a game on sale for like $30, you know, is that so bad? Like, is it so bad to want to like look on your shelf at your local store or like your local game shop and to see Gotham Knights available for $30? Like, do you not think that Gotham Knights is a completely worthy package in $30 that you'll have a lot of fun with and you might find quite a bit of enjoyment out of? Same with something like Marvel's Avengers. You know, like they may not live up to that $70 price tag, and that's fine. And I understand that. But sometimes people need to be able to differentiate a 7 out of 10 game versus a truly not good game. Because look at that Gollum game and tell me that Gotham Knights or Avengers were anywhere near the level of quality or lack thereof in that Gollum game.
Absolutely
Dude,
not.
At PAX East, I saw that Gollum was playable, and I sat there. I was gonna get in line and play it. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, but I sat there and watched people play it, and I'm like, no, I'm all set.
Yeah.
Like it didn't look bad per se. I've seen that people are like, I saw they put out a statement today. But like I kind of looked at it and was yeah, I don't need to play this.
I was surprised. I was kind of surprised because I didn't look at any trailers or anything about it. I just saw it one day on Keymailer. I was like, oh, Gollum game. That might be okay. The couple of screenshots looked okay. And then I just didn't think about it until I saw Skill-Up's review today. I was like, holy, what happened?
Yeah, I watched his review too, and I was like, oh man, like, because that dude, he really knows how to, like, you know, emphasize or make you aware of like the quality of a game. And I think he did a great job illustrating how rough that game is, from writing and even to the lore. And when he was talking about like the premium edition bonuses, terrible stuff. But guys, I gotta run. This was amazing though. Let's definitely do this again when I have like a full like time slot available to sit and chat with you guys. The next Spider-Man 2 trailer, next Mortal Kombat 1 trailer, I'd love to sit here and talk with you guys. Sadat, It was great to meet you.
Great to meet you, my friend.
Keep up the great work with the content creation. Keep, you know, looking at me and being like, I'm gonna do better than this idiot, because you absolutely will. And Jay, you know, it's always a pleasure, man.
I'll see you in LA.
Yeah, man. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for giving us your time, man. Yeah. And everybody, make sure you check out Caboose. I'm sure we got links out there for him. I mean, you know who Caboose is.
And thank you to the chat as well. I was looking at the chat throughout the whole show. Thank you guys so much for the love and for the love that you show with these guys too. These guys are great.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Boost.
We're not leaving though. We're still here. So that was awesome. That was everything I hoped it would be. Caboose is such an awesome dude, and I can't, like, of all the people I've met through gaming, he's easily in my top 50. You know, no, very higher, very much higher than that. No,
at least top 30.
Oh, I mean, he's up there with my absolute favorites. Because of all the reasons I said earlier, like, he has been so great to me every time we've met, and yeah, it's really great. And I'm really glad that we had him on. I'm really glad we didn't have him on last week because obviously Spooderman, you know, I'm glad it worked out the way it did. And you know, who knows, maybe when there's some big Mortal Kombat stuff, we can get him and Uncaged on together. Because let me tell you, as somebody who has experienced that show in person, Sadat and I wouldn't have to work.
You know how much I love taking it easy.
But yeah, man, like that was awesome, and we appreciate Caboose giving us his time, and we're always looking for some cool guests like that. So
yeah, we're trying to get someone from Insomniac here. We're trying. We're trying to track him down.
Yeah, so I am actually going to be at Summer Game Fest in LA. So I just had business cards made, probably a day too late because they're telling me they're not going to arrive until the day I fly out. So I'm really hoping that's not the case, and that we get them before. I can't imagine
I mean, who uses business cards anymore anyway?
Well, excuse me. The business card just has like a QR code on it and my logo, and it just brings you to my solo page, which has all the links, including to the after show. So yeah, I kind of got shamed at PAX East because I gave someone my business card, and she's with Devolver, hilarious on Twitter. My first time meeting her, I'm like, oh, I don't know if you remember me. I follow you. I interact with you sometimes. Here's my card. And it's a card I had made like 6 years ago. And she looked at it and she was, you have your phone number on this? I'm like, well, isn't that what you do on a business card? She's like, nobody puts their phone number on a card anymore. So that in my head made me go, oh, damn. All right. I need to get rid of these.
He really felt like a boomer.
I really did. I really did. Because like in my day, like, of course, I also had real business cards for like real business purposes at points where you would have to have your phone number on it. You know what I mean? So I always thought that's just what people did. And I've always done it going back to when I did like the music stuff, which made more sense back then too, because like you would want publicists to know how to get in touch with you. You would want the bands to know how to get in touch with you. And yeah, anyway.
Even back then, as far as I can remember, when I was still going out in the music scene, artists were giving out business cards with QR codes linking to their to their music. So
yeah, I'm talking about the 2000s, okay?
100 years ago.
Yeah, basically. Like I'm talking like 2001 to 2011. Like I'm pretty sure these business cards I had made in 2001,
2000. I was quite literally a child.
I was quite literally in my second year of college. 2001.
I was literally a child. I literally still had recess.
You might have, yeah. You probably were like at least middle school.
I was I moved from Philly and started 8th grade. No, I moved from Philly and started 5th grade in 99.
Crazy. I graduated from high school in 99. So, well, you know what I mean. It is what it is. But I don't know, man. I always like having business cards.
It's good to have something.
And I feel like I really like the ones I made for this because it has on one side it just has my logo and then a blank white space with the QR code, has my name, and it has the link on the bottom. And then if you flip the card, it has like this background they made for my my Stream Deck cover, and it kind of looks like kind of Asgardian, basically. And it's got my logo, and that just says at JShockBlast. Then it has the Twitter logo, the Instagram, the YouTube, all of that right there. So I feel like it basically serves the point. It shows you on the back where you can find me, and it's got a cool little graphic. On the other side, it's got the QR code, takes you to my link page that has all my links. So,
well, if I ever leave my house, I'll make sure to get business cards way cooler than whatever you just described.
I don't think you can, but I do think
you definitely can. I've seen some really interesting and innovative business cards, and that was like 15 years ago. So I definitely think I could get something real cool.
All right. Well, I just wanted to have something that I could give to people at this big event that I'll be at. That so far, I know I'm playing a Disney game. I'm playing the Immortals of Avium game that they showed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to play that. I just got invited to a Final Fantasy 16 event they're doing, and I might be able to stream it there. Nice. So that's cool. And I'm playing an unannounced WB game, which I am assuming is Mortal Kombat. But and I'm also doing a demo of the brand new Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings expansion, which apparently is like the biggest thing to ever happen to Magic the Gathering. So that's what I know of so far.
I was always a Yu-Gi-Oh guy. Never really cared about Magic.
I was never really a player of any of that, but
loser.
My buddy Mark who goes by Madman. He is a huge Magic guy, has played in some pretty, big events for Magic the Gathering, and traveled for them, is qualified for big events. And basically, I just want to do it so that if they give me something, I can just bring it home and give it to him. That's really it.
One final flex. I feel it. Now, I think Summer Game Fest could be a situation where Sony kind of redeems itself, if that's what they're planning. Like, it sounds like the Last of Us faction is fucked.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe some of the other stuff, because Sony is one of the partners, the list of partners for this. So I'm thinking maybe the main difference between this showcase and the 2021 is that the 21 showcase happened in September, whereas this one is like right next to Summer Game Fest. So it's possible they were just like, well, because we're so close to Summer Game Fest, we'll kind of divide it up. We'll have some stuff for our showcase, and then we'll have some stuff for Summer Game Fest. So maybe that's where we'll see like a Stellar Blade or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's also a really good point, because even though you would think they would want to unveil stuff in their own events, I feel like the whole gaming world was watching the showcase.
They were.
But I feel like Summer Game Fest is going to be just that much bigger. So saving something for that big event, I think, is pretty good. Plus, it's also an in-person event, which makes it a little bit different. You got the fan reaction. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they might have saved something, at least one thing, for a big bang effect during that event.
Yeah. So maybe that's where so I'm thinking, like, going through that list of potential stuff. Well, I think we can cross off the Last of Us factions, but maybe the Last of Us 3 announcement. We got the Metal Gear, so maybe Silent Hill 2 remake get announced here. Maybe Death Stranding 2, Twisted Metal.
What about oh yeah, I was about to say Twisted Metal. What if they did something Twisted Metal related and like Anthony Mackie comes out?
Oh yeah, there you go, because he's doing the movie, so that would make sense there.
Because famously at these events, they like try to get the celebrities in there. I think like didn't Vin Diesel come out for one of them for like that Fast and the Furious game?
I think so. I know that.
And was Keanu at Summer Game Fest, or was that an E3 thing?
I think that was E3. I know the Rock was at one of those promoting his alcohol and a game at the same time.
Yeah, I actually got pretty good seats for the show. I'm like dead center, about 20 to 23 rows up. So I can't really complain. I did look into like buying seats, because you can buy seats for it on like the secondary market, and there were 2 seats front row for $199 each. And I'm like, oof. If I could buy one, I would consider it. But because then you're just like, you're possibly on the show. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, and plus, I'm just thinking about like my phone taking pictures and stuff. But yeah, I'll just take the one they gave me.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe someone will. Maybe a developer will donate you a bag of money in between now and then. Yeah.
Listen, I can't spend $199 for a ticket to something I'm already going to.
That does sound excessive.
I can't justify it.
The wife would probably not approve.
Yeah, so I from what I understand, Caboose and Uncaged are going to be there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
The Montreal boys back again.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, look, we're gonna. The rumors are out there that there's gonna be some pretty big announcements.
I mean, my video focused on the superhero stuff, but I'm curious to see if how many of those predictions I hit, because I feel like WB Games Montreal definitely rolling out a superhero game. I think this will be the time when they announce at least what that DC game is, and I think it's Superman. But Wonder Woman's been hiring. They've been spending like the last year plus just hiring new people, and the last time we got that trailer was 2021. So I'm expecting an update for that. my out there prediction was a Ubisoft Daredevil. We'll see if that pops up at Ubisoft Forward, but I'm convinced they're doing a Marvel game.
And they're definitely doing a Star Wars game.
They're definitely, and I heard they're targeting. I heard potentially 2024 for the open world one.
I really hope that's like a Mandalorian or a bounty hunter style game,
or open galaxy, open type of that would make sense if it is.
I'm thinking that the Microsoft event is going to be pre-recorded, kind of like the Sony one. I thought about reaching out to see if that was like an in-person thing, but I feel like if it was, that people that are already on the list for Summer Game Fest would have gotten something, because that's how I got something about Final Fantasy 16. So I'm actually looking forward to that, because one of the guys that's working on does press for them is worked on Marvel Heroes.
Oh,
so
nice.
So I've met him.
It's not Wagner, is it?
It's not. Yes. Square Enix did not hire Brian to do press for them.
Imagine if Wagner was there.
Handing out resumes.
Don't work in security at the door.
I don't know.
That's holy.
I don't know why I didn't anticipate it going there, but
you should know me better.
Yeah.
I think speaking of, I have to make a video. There's been so much Spider-Man stuff, but I have to make a video about what's going on with this Embracer thing, because I'm hearing Embracer is in some trouble, but I'm pretty sure the deal that fell through was the Marvel one.
I think we all kind of feel that way.
Yeah, which makes me
What
wonder,
else is going to invest $2 billion?
Yeah, which also makes me wonder what's going on with Guardians. Is that going to get delisted if they're not going to work out? So I was talking to Miller about this, and he's going to dig some stuff up, because he has some ideas about why the deal fell apart and what it could be leading to. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, and hopefully he can dig up with some. But that's something was definitely off there, like, because it sounded like Embracer was all set to go on that deal, and for some reason Marvel kind of just blew it up, kind of just collapsed the whole thing from based on what they reported. But Embracer definitely could have used that, because apparently their investments so far haven't paid off yet. They obviously they didn't have much luck with Saints Row. Their Dow and 2 did well, but it wasn't enough to make up for what they lost so far, and they're still waiting for the Crystal Dynamics investment to pay off, because that's going to be a while.
And apparently KOTOR is not going to be a thing.
Yeah. The CEO was asked about that, and he
just said nothing.
He did not have a good response. So
yeah, I am unfortunately counting on that to be a dead game, like an actual dead game,
actual literal dead game.
Yeah, and that breaks my heart, man. Like that CGI trailer is one of my most memorable, like, gaming stream moments. Like when you're watching these announcement things, like. Yeah. I don't usually I'm usually pretty even keeled in my reaction. Maybe I'll drop my mouth or, make my caboose face and whatnot. But like, I don't usually go up an octave or two. And I knew it was Revan. I could see it as they faded into it. I'm like, oh my God, it's like Little Republic. Kind of like that.
So, that's kind of how it was with Spider-Man 2 and Phantom Blade 0.
Yeah, that Phantom. So do we think that Phantom Blade 0 is gonna be a Soulsborne style game?
It seems very Sekiro.
Yeah, that's the comparison someone in my chat made too, which would be unfortunate. I appreciate that those games exist for the people that enjoy them. I don't enjoy the Soulsborne style, the punishing, like, brutal difficulty. I like to just enjoy my story.
It's weird because the way the combat looked in the gameplay, it looks so fluid and quick. It almost seemed either like it was, I don't know, like it had either you have to be like ridiculous with the reflexes, or it's like maybe it kind of gave me like Devil May Cry vibes. Maybe there's like or there had to be some kind of automatic parry. Like something was going on. That combat looked too crazy. So I don't know how they're going to do it.
I agree with Q here. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima really spoiled me because it gave you that mode, that availability for someone that just wanted to enjoy the story and enjoy going through it. But if you did crank up the difficulty, it was every bit as much a Soulsborne game for people, you know.
For sure. And I enjoyed that challenge, and it was fun because it wasn't like it felt like it was designed where it was like, oh, this literally is a skill issue, and once you understood what you had to do, then you could get through it. It didn't feel like it was just there to be cheap and punishing.
Yeah, and my thing is always like, I can play these harder games, I just don't have time for that stress in my life. Like I don't enjoy the feeling of like every last move has to be perfect. Like I just want to just enjoy the immersiveness of the story. Like that's why I play video games, just to be immersed in the story. And that's one of my big issues with some of the like traversal, like parkouring stuff in Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah,
like especially those challenge ones.
It definitely felt forced.
Yeah. So like, and I also just feel bad for like for people with disabilities, you know what I mean? Like I think about like right now, like I did something to my shoulder, and I just think about like what happens if like I had to have surgery on my shoulder or something, and like my left arm was not as responsive, and like I have to struggle through like a super hard situation because like you made it that twitchy, that reactive. Like there's some challenges in Jedi Survivor that I know I'm never going to get 1,000 all the achievements, or if when I get it on PlayStation I'm not going to get the platinum, because I know I can beat them, but it drives me so insane how precise you have to be that I just don't want to do it, you know?
Yeah, I finished the game and I was like thinking of doing a new game plus or exploring just the different dungeons and everything like that, just to get, unlock some extra stuff. And just the idea of having to use that dog shit map again was just I was like, I'm just gonna play Deadline 2 instead. And then I ended up uninstalling it so I can make room for Forspoken because I have to stream that new DLC.
Yeah, so like I'm at a predicament because like I don't really want to play that level where you have to do all the gliding through Marin's like mist and stuff. I don't really want to play that level again.
I liked it. I didn't mind that one.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I
thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool, but I just didn't like the precision you had to have. Like, because there were times where you just had to like, do these things perfectly, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that again. But I also want my red lightsaber blade. So
yeah, I'll probably go back for that. I had to free up 91 gigs for Forspoken. So I was like,
yeah, I'm gonna have to apologize in person for still not even playing that.
How dare you?
Yeah, it's just so many things have come up, and I don't think it would do anything for me. So
I surprisingly did well on my channel when I streamed Forspoken.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought based on all the people hating on Twitter, I thought it was going to do well, but I had like 5,000 views on like my stream. I was like, oh, okay, guess people do like it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to trying the DLC. I'm surprised it was still coming out. I thought the studio was getting shut down.
I was like, yeah, I'm wondering how that sold.
Yeah. Oh, was
there like a deluxe edition or something?
Yeah, deluxe edition
that came with the DLC?
Yeah, deluxe edition. If you bought the deluxe edition, you get early access to DLC. They basically just gave me a code that upgraded me to the deluxe edition so that I could download it for free.
I have played like the first 4 chapters of Dead Space Remake. I love Dead Space. I was like a late bloomer on Dead Space. I played the 3rd one first, and I got it because I'm like, oh, this looks really good. I don't usually like horror games, but it looks really good. And when you bought it back then, it came with the first one digitally. So I was like, oh, okay, well, then I'm just going to get it. And then if I like it, I'll go back and play the first one. And then I liked it, so I went back and played the first one. Then I played the second one. So I kind of played a little out of order, but I really loved this, the new Dead Space remake. It just came out when I was at the Royal Rumble. So like I couldn't get to it. And then when I bought it, it just sat there unopened for like a month. And now a bunch of other things have come out, so I haven't gone back to it. But
I've never touched any of the Dead Spaces.
Listen, when that game drops in price, I would love to see Sadat the Gamer live stream Dead Space with the webcam on and get all his jump scares in a compilation.
Yeah, I'm immune to jump scares. They don't they don't work. I remember I streamed Resident Evil Village and I was like, nope. The jump scares, horror movies, they just modern stuff, they just it's just boring to me. I just like because I usually see the stuff coming. A lot of it is telegraphed, and I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, I still watch the WWE. I enjoy my male soap opera. I mean, I don't watch it as religiously as I used to, but when you get the chance to get flown to San Antonio to play WWE 2K23 and go to the Royal Rumble, you do it. Because the Royal Rumble was always my favorite event.
I mean, you can't say no to free games in a flight. So I'll mind. And the game at least looks fun. I have zero interest in watching wrestling, but the games look fun, especially with the whole customization of the characters and those.
I do love doing those Royal Rumbles where you just download a bunch of like anime characters and
those are fun
and have the big Royal Rumbles he wins. There, oh God, I don't remember the characters. There's one character that I think is a Dragon Ball character. He's like black, like deep black.
Mr. Popo.
Yes, somebody made that person in that game, and it was like literally out of the anime.
Mr. Popo, that's a sketchy one to make. So I'm glad they were able to pull it off. There is an easy way to make that one look a little sus.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to do an anime Royal Rumble, so I just started downloading every anime character I could even see, and that was one of them. And I think he won one of my Royal Rumbles.
Oh, nice. I also like watching Johnny Rocker do his wrestling. He'll have the AI. He does the simulation stuff and he does the commentary.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do, and that's why. And plus, WWE games are like my brother's favorite game. So I basically had him. I think I was in New York for Redfall, and he actually, when I got WWE 2K23, and I couldn't record anything, so he actually recorded all my John Cena showcase videos because those did really well for me last year. The Rey Mysterio showcases. So he recorded all of them and I edited them together and had it ready to go. So he ghost played it all for me.
Oh, nice. Now I'm curious, are you planning on seeing the Flash movie and or Across the Spider-Verse in theaters?
Yes, I might actually. So I'm Across Spider-Verse is next week. And I'm gonna go see that hopefully right away, and then I think Transformers comes out while I'm in LA, and I might try to go see it at the Chinese theater.
I think I'm gonna focus on Across the Spider-Verse and the Flash.
And the Flash is after that, though, right?
Yeah, the Flash is they're both happening relatively soon in the same month.
And I want to answer Jedi Mind Trick's question. That guy is, I believe, knows somebody with WWE and just travels to literally every event, so he has access to those tickets. But WWE is notorious for having like a person that's available for certain super fans to help them get like special tickets and stuff like that. Like there's this guy that's known as Brock Lesnar guy, and he got famous back when Brock Lesnar came back to the WWE the first time after going to UFC, and they just happened to pan in on him, and he was just going nuts, like rah, rah, doing the whole Brock Lesnar thing, and like he turned into a crowd celebrity after that. You know,
imagine that being your identity.
I know, right?
You're just
yeah.
You're just a guy who screams for Brock.
But the guy Jedi Mind Trick is talking about is there's this guy. He wears like this bright green T-shirt with like a smiley face on it, and he's literally front row at like every pay-per-view and most Monday Night Raws. Like he's always there.
He must have money, or
there. If you just Google WWE green shirt guy, there are stories about him. Like
he's like a yeah. It's like folklore now.
It literally is. It literally is. So he's not he's the kid that reacted when Lesnar beat Taker. Yeah. Like they're a Miz girl, you know. There's all sorts of people like that are just regular fans in the crowd that have become like infamous for like their reaction. Like there was a girl where the Miz beat John Cena for the world title, and literally had the look of murder on her face, like, and now she's like, I think she's like probably like 23 now, because that was so long ago. Yeah,
NBA has a pretty funny running gag where it's just random. It'll just anytime the Warriors are playing, people just like take courtside shots of random attractive women because they know that whenever Jordan Poole sees an attractive woman, he just goes off, and now their entire genre of TikTok and YouTube video where's this Jordan Poole going off after seeing a baddie in the crowd.
Dude, you know what's hilarious? Last night, and I had no idea about this until then. Last night, freaking McLovin is sitting courtside.
Yeah, I saw McLovin.
So it turns out he's a massive Celtics fan. Like somebody was like, no, like he's a big fan. Somebody like tweeted a picture of him with, like back in the day with Paul Pierce, Kendrick Perkins, and Gabe Pruitt. That's how far back it goes.
Jesus.
All right, and so apparently his dad is from Worcester, which is where I live, and like. He's just like grew up a Boston fan. So like freaking McLovin is sitting courtside with Bailey Zappi from the Patriots. It was like so random out of left field, but apparently it's not. And it's a known thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard McLovin's name in literally years.
He's been in a few things. He was he was just in a movie I watched recently. So yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've actually seen McLovin movie, but it wasn't super. I feel like I've seen him in something since Superbad.
Yeah, no, it was something pretty recent. He was like a sketchy like high school guidance counselor, and he was always trying to hit on the girls. I think it was. I don't remember what that was though.
I'm glad he's still acting.
Yeah,
I like McLovin.
I was gonna say something else, but yeah.
Boomer memory. I think we can wrap it up. I'm ready. I'm about ready for some din.
Yeah, man. This was a great show, man. I loved the like right away the rapport with you and Caboose. It went real well, and it was just a great show. I loved this show. This is my favorite one we've done.
Oh yeah, I can get along with everyone. So
yeah, well, I mean, I knew that, but like, but you know, it was
I am a professional broadcaster, Jay.
I'm aware. I'm acknowledging it, man. You don't be so offended.
I'm offended. That's my superpower.
Yeah, no, but Night of Champions from we had over 100 people at one point.
Yeah,
Like everybody pulled through.
Yeah, it was great. What appreciate all of you in Durag and Shock Blast Nation for for the support every single week. It was a lot of fun. Loving how the show's been growing organically, and we're going to keep moving. Hopefully, we get bigger and bigger guests, and you guys keep showing up for us. Appreciate as usual everyone over on the Twitch and YouTube side. We're trying to get Kick going. Kick broke down, so we'll try. Hopefully, it works next time. Next time, but I think we had limited technical problems. It's pretty good for our first ever attempt of using StreamYard. So appreciate Jay Moneybags for splurging on the pro version.
And how does everybody feel? Like, I mean, you guys that are in the chat right now, you've been here for all the shows. This was a better presentation, obviously, right? Like, I feel like this was very, very smooth, and I love that we're able to just pull up the comments and everything. I thought this was definitely a great.
It was definitely. I definitely appreciate it was less work on my part.
Yeah. I appreciate. No, honestly, I appreciate that too, because like I always felt like, man, I just show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I'm always a pain in the ass. Because I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I set up a certain amount of time because I got to set up the OBS. I got to put this here. I got to change the settings here. And then I got to set up the alerts and the streams and then
my wife just texted me. It looked really nice.
Yeah, but it looks very clean. So I appreciate that. And
yeah,
and now we have everything kind of the way we need it to be. So next time
you guys,
it'll be smoother.
Sorry, you guys can all thank Redfall for that. I did do a sponsored Redfall stream.
You did,
and I took that and reinvested it into this.
So go buy Redfall,
or just try it on Xbox Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Or do that.
Yeah, Caboose. Thank you so much to Caboose. He was such a great guest, and we're definitely gonna have him back. Next chance it makes sense to, because the rapport, it was great, and I do love the idea of having Uncaged with him. Absolutely. For some Mortal Kombat talk.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that, and I'll brush up on my Mortal Kombat so I can talk with you nerds about it. maybe I'll even get into the new one so we can all play. That'd be a fun thing. So once again, we'll see you all next week. It should be at our normal time. Though I don't know. Do you prefer 5 or do you like 8?
The reason I don't mind 5 if it's not on Friday. The reason why 8 works on Friday is because I usually go to my in-laws.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
I do enjoy that.
I personally like to have the extra time to take a nap.
I do feel like we had like I know Stardust was in here, and I do feel like obviously doing it a little bit earlier opens it up for the European audience, but I'm fine with staying at 8.
Yep. America.
Unless we picked a different day. But
America 8 for now.
Eastwood prefers 8. I'm sure everybody else prefers 8.
All right. So we'll be back next week at 8. And we'll do our usual outro now. Appreciate everyone once again. I'm Scott the Gamer.
I'm Jay Shockblast.
Zip it up and zip it out. Peace.